Right, is it fixed now or is it working properly? Let's check the delay. Sadly, it will take a moment for people to migrate. Checking the screen delay on my end. Yeah, seems too much what I'm seeing here. No fucking clue. I just reset the stream. A fucking YouTube, man. Literally did nothing different. Now I'm kind of salty. Yeah, well, at least it works. Let's keep going then. Okay, next one. We're almost done with the tutorial. There is no mimic among the black boxes. So it's talking about itself and nobody else. There is no mimic among the red boxes. These could both be true, but both could be lying. The leftmost column, so this one, contains a mimic. And the box on the left is not a mimic. There is only one mimic here. So Primadi says 4. The box on the left isn't a mimic. Assuming that's true, then it's lying. So when it's saying that this one isn't a mimic, it would have to be a mimic as well. So that doesn't work. Any other guesses? Top left. Top left could be a mimic, and it doesn't interact with any other chest. But why can't the red one be a mimic? Can you explain it? Most people think top left. Let's say you're correct, but explain your logic to me. What could possibly lead you to think that? Top right looking sus. Because 3 becomes false. The leftmost column contains a mimic. Yes, if this is a mimic, then this one is lying, because we only have one. There is also another useful trick to know here, which is just a shorthand for this logic. The leftmost column contains a mimic, itself is on the left side, right? So if it was a mimic, it would be lying, but there would still be a mimic here, so that doesn't work. So if a chest is referring to itself like this, and saying there's a mimic there has to be a mimic. You're totally correct. Just going through the logic. Now we have to kill some birds. Finally, some good fucking food. We hit them with the stuff we found in the chest that didn't hit us, and then we get to move on. Some other fights gives you resources too, but not this one. Alright, so the leftmost column contains no mimics. 2. The rightmost column contains no mimics. So the sound's breaking down still. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure I've had a problem like this before. Basically, it's some update from Ops that probably broke it and it started doing some bullshit. I fixed it before and then it's happening again. So, what would you prefer that I do? I can stop the stream, fix it, and then do the same stream tomorrow. Or we can keep going. The game is called Mimic Logic. Really good puzzle game. Ignore all the capital letters. Don't worry about them. Apparently it's intermittent. Alright. Most of you prefer I keep going. Obs is a mimic, that's for sure. Alright, we'll keep going then. So, 1. The leftmost column contains a mimic. 2. The rightmost column contains no mimics. 3. The bottom row contains a mimic. 4. The leftmost column contains no mimic. The same statement as this one. 5. The bottom row contains no mimics. 6. The rightmost column contains no mimics. The same statement as this one. Number 5 is the first guess. Far left row is safe because there's only one mimic. That's right. One vote for 4. This is 4, so I'm not sure if you mean that. Okay, what of you want to just say 5? So if you go over 50%, we can just close it out and move on if you want. But some of you are still discussing it, so just poet. Do you think the chest number 5 is a mimic? In this game mode, the mimics are lying all the time, yes. This is not necessarily true for other game modes, but in this game mode, it's true. Okay, most of you agree it's 5. You're correct. So this is a wizard that sells us bullshit. His bullshit is plus 8 magic damage. Do you want plus 8 magic damage? It has a percent chance of happening. The percent chance is 30% of our attacks. Wait, I think I might have a solution. Just a moment. Well, if I just close Firefox and then open the chat elsewhere. I'm pretty sure it's ops shittery. Where for some fucking reason it's using the CPU instead of the GPU. So, okay, we're buying the book. It's not terrible. So I think I have a solution to stabilize the trolling from ops. I think if I could just close Firefox, so because it also uses the CPU to fix it. If not, I'll probably just uninstall ops and try to sort it out off stream. But I'll just try one more thing. Just a moment. Yeah, I'm using Firefox. No idea if it's available on mobile. If you can buy stuff on Steam through mobile, then probably. To be fair, I'm not moving and I haven't done what I'm trying to do. So you wouldn't be able to tell just yet. Try to sort it out off stream. But I'll just try one more thing. Oops. Just a moment. Yeah, I'm using Firefox. No idea if it's available on mobile. Ops issue. Anyhow, for now, let's keep going and you can tell me how it goes. The rightmost column contains no mimics. Rightmost is this one. The bottom row contains a mimic. The box on the left isn't a mimic. The top row contains no mimics. I don't know why I start with the sixth one. but it's the same as the fourth one. The top row contains no mimics. The leftmost column contains a mimic. Leftmost is this one. Let's see if it lasts. Right, can you tell where the mimic is from the information given so far? Okay, is the stream back on? I tried to reset it and lower it to 30 FPS. You should notice a disconnection and then it should come back on. Let's see if it runs properly now. Most of you are saying that it's chest number 5. Does anyone have any other suggestions? Or are you all in on chest number 5? 4 is the top row contains no mimics. If this is a mimic, 6 has to be a mimic too. And because we only have one mimic, that seems unlikely. So this is 5 to be clear. This is 5. This is 4. The box on the left means this box. It's referring to the box that's horizontally to the left of it, not diagonally. Can I post pause from my phone? Guess we'll have to see if I can enter it through my channel. Which I can't because I can't open it on my ancient task phone. That's fine, you are correct that it's number 5. Let's see how bad the delay is when we go to the next floor. Going to the next floor now. We are there. We are on the next floor. Could you see it? And we have more stuff to fight here. Defense reduces their damage by a flat amount. That's what magic does. We'll save the weapon and just punch them to death like a reasonable person. And then we go down to the next floor, which is a homely town where we get to chill out for a bit. Sadly, it seems I can't make a poll from my phone. Oh well. Yes, mimics always lie. So we're going to sell all the stuff we don't need, and then we get 11 nuggets for it. We can buy food. I'm kind of hacking by giving you a bunch of extra health and food, so you're not gonna need that. A charm is an item that protects you from a mimic once. Mimics aren't wussies like Dark Souls mimics. They just bite your face off and you're dead. There's no health bar to save you. Alright, we'll just keep stacking attack then. Because there's nothing useful to the puzzles. And keep going down. There are 2 mimics from here on. The mimic number is always shown here. So 2 of these chests are mimics. So the moment you see a lie, it doesn't mean every other chest is true. The leftmost column has 1 or more mimics. The leftmost column has 1 or more mimics. The rightmost column has no mimics. The rightmost column has 1 or more mimics. The rightmost column has 1 or more again. and the bottom row has at least one mimic. Can you tell where they are? I'll give you a moment to see if you figure it out. If you're struggling, I will provide more information from there. The first smile away says 1, 4. Okay, that's interesting. So this is 1 and this is 4. But they say different things. And if they're lying, it follows the chests that say the same things as them are also lying. That seems to not work. We have too many mimics now. 2 and 3. Same problem with that. If 2 is lying, then 1 is lying. 3 and 6. The rightmost column contains no mimics, and the bottom row has at least one mimic. There's no contradiction with other chests directly, but you have several problems. The leftmost column has one or more mimics, so these ones end up lying again. On top of that, you have another kind of problem. I'll give you a big hint. If you don't see any other chest, like if you can only see the sixth one, the bottom row has at least one mimic. This chest is 100% correct, no matter what any other chests say. This is because the information it contains will already give you enough. The bottom row has at least one mimic, and it's in the bottom row. To explain why, imagine that this chest is a mimic. Mimics always lie, so this chest is lying, and this statement isn't true. If the bottom row has at least one mimic is a lie, then the correct statement would be the bottom row has no mimics. But then why is there a mimic here? A mimic cannot say the bottom row has at least one mimic. That's a contradiction. So, you know for sure this one is correct. Most people are going with 4 and 5. The rightmost column has one or more mimics, and the rightmost column has one or more mimics. This makes sense. If what this one is saying is true, and it has to be, then one of these is a mimic. But if one of them is a mimic, the other one is also a mimic, because they're saying the same thing. Yeah, you got it. Those of you who said 4 and 5. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. The bottom row contains no mimics. The box on the left is a mimic. Helpful tip here: when a box just points to another box and says that fucker is a mimic, then for sure one of them is a mimic, because it's either true or it's lying, which means it's a mimic. So it's either a mimic or this is a mimic. Anytime a box points and accuses, there's a mimic there. There is no mimic among the red boxes. The box above me is not a mimic. The bottom row has at least one mimic. Yeah, I reset the stream and lowered the frame rate, which fixed it. I think it's an ops issue when it's not using the GPU on my laptop, because it's an asshole. It does that sometime after update. First guess was 2 and 5. For where the mimics are, 2 and 5. The bottom row contains no mimics. This is a lie, according to Azraelin, and the box above me isn't a mimic. This is solid logic, yeah. If this is a lie, then this has to be a lie as well. Most of you seem to agree with it. I would have preferred to make polls, but we'll make do it on this stream. I guess I can try to open my YouTube and see if I can do it. You are correct here, though. Alright. Since I also lowered the frame rate, I'll try to open my browser and see if I can make a poll from there. More fighting. We'll eat the candy we got earlier for some more attack, and smack people in the face with it. And as a reward, we get 1 attack candy. Yay. The box on the right is not a mimic. Useful way to apply the logic: if this is a mimic, then whatever it's pointing to is also a mimic. But we don't know that yet. There is a mimic among the blue boxes, or the blue box, as is the case here. There is a mimic among the black boxes. The box above me is a mimic. There is no mimic among the black boxes. and there is a mimic among the blue boxes. To help with some logical connections, 1 and 4 is impossible here, because one of these has to be correct. If this is a mimic, then this one isn't lying. If this one is lying, then this isn't a mimic. Only one of them can be a mimic. But one of them is definitely a mimic, because this box is accusing this one of being a mimic. So one of them is a mimic. 4 and 5. Right. So 4 and 5, you're saying those are the mimics. There is no mimic among the black boxes, and the box above me is a mimic. So that would mean the box on the right isn't a mimic. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. Okay, so you can confirm very easily that this part of it is correct. Because imagine if it were not correct. If this is a mimic, then the box on the right has to be a mimic, because it's saying isn't a mimic, but it's lying. If this is a mimic, then this one has to be a mimic, because they're saying the same thing. So that's 3 mimics. We only have 2. So we can tell these ones are correct. Which means the box above me is a mimic, is a lie. You got 4 down. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to open every chest. If you're not sure, we can just keep going. I'll open 5 if you want me to, of course, that's up to you. But how do you know that this box is a mimic? Maybe it's telling the truth, and this box is a liar. We can gamble, yes. You are completely correct. Oh, somebody donated and I missed it. I'm sorry. Thanks for the 10 memberships though. Okay, let's see if this will work. Do tell me if it starts dropping out in terms of lag again. I made a poll. Okay, so I think chat has established so far that either 3 or 5 is also a mimic, but you can't tell for sure. So this is a leading question that will trigger you, and we'll probably lose the run from it. But I'll do it anyway. Do we just open one at random? If you say yes, then I'll ask you which one you want to open. Yeah, this box is accusing this box of being a mimic. This box is accusing this box of being a mimic. You can read it like that. One of them is a mimic, but we don't have the means to tell which one. Okay, I kind of baited you with this. Since you're all gacha players, the answer was obvious. So, who is a mimic? Red or black? Let's test your luck, chat. Or maybe you're just the mimic whisperer. Oh, of course you go for the black one. Why am I not surprised, chat? Will you be punished for your racism? Boo. You are correct. Curses. Okay, now we have more chests to fuck with you. Diagonal down left from me isn't a mimic. Be very careful with this one, it's easy to get confused. Diagonal down left is this one. Diagonal up left is this one as well. Diagonal up left is this one though. So, diagonal down left is not a mimic. Diagonal down left from me is a mimic. So this one is accusing this one of being a mimic. I'm just trying to keep it clear. The box on the right is a mimic. This box is also accusing this box of being a mimic. The box on the left is a mimic. Diagonal up left from me is not a mimic, same as this one. And the box on the left is a mimic. So you're saying 4 and 7. I'm reading it for you, so I haven't had the time to check it myself. Let's see if your logic is true. So if that's true, this one's accusing it, this one's accusing it, this one's accusing it, this one. Yeah, you're correct. No PO for this one, because everyone's set for 7. We have a shop. We'll sell our garbage. Oh, we can buy a good thing. Okay, I'm going to buy you a cheating item, a blue crystal. When you get stuck on a hard puzzle, instead of rolling a 50-50 or dying stupidly, you can use this blue crystal, and it will tell you which chest doesn't have a mimic in it. We'll use this later if you get stuck, or we'll forget to use it and die horribly. That's also an option. And we'll also buy attack and health potions, so we don't die horribly to other non-mimic related things. The shop is always a mimic. There is no mimic among the black boxes. Do you trust this red chest? The bottom row has at least one mimic. Diagonal down right from me is a mimic. The bottom row has at least one mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. Diagonal up right from me, that's upright would be this, is a mimic. Diagonal upright from me is a mimic. Can't wait for confused boxes. Blue, if you've played this, do you prefer doubt or confused boxes? I'm full of doubt whenever I deal with the confused boxes, but doubt mode really confuses me. 5 and 6. So 5 and 6 are these ones. Okay. Any other opinions? We just go in sequential order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, nobody has said anything between other than 5 and 6. I'm assuming that's the agreement of chat, so I'll just explain it for the people who are just watching. So, let's just assume these are indeed mimics for a bit. There is no mimic among the black boxes. Yeah, that checks out. The bottom row has at least one mimic. The bottom row has at least one mimic. We now have a confirmation that this is a mimic. Diagonal upright from me is a mimic. But that doesn't really work, because if these two are mimics, because they say the same shit, and this is true, then what about here? How do we have one more mimic here? Because one of these has to be a mimic. That doesn't work. So it stands to reason that these are both correct. And the bottom row has at least one. So what about here? Let's assume that this box is correct, and... Pardon, the other way around. Let's assume that this box is the mimic. You know, 6 and 7. What happens there? Then this has to be a mimic. But if this is a mimic, this is also a mimic. Obviously that doesn't work. Which is why the only boxes left that could be the mimics are the top row, has one mimic, because we can't feed it anywhere, and this one here. Yep, you got it really quickly. More bird slaying. And we get to eat some food once again. We're broke, so there's no point in going to the shop, because we had a shop before. The top row has at least one mimic. Diagonal down left from me is a mimic. Down left. Diagonal down right from me is a mimic. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. There is no mimic among the red boxes. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. Diagonal up left from me isn't a mimic. I finished this before I finished reading it. Most important relation to solving this one, I've mentioned before. If a chest accuses another of being a mimic, then one of them has to be a mimic. That's kind of how all statements work and how you want to analyze them. But with a direct accusation, it becomes super simple. Okay, we have two people saying 2 and 3. 2 and 3. And one saying 2 and 4. 2 and 4 makes no sense, because one of them is true and one of them is a mimic. 1 and 2. To eliminate the person saying 1, this chest is correct on its own merit. This chest is on the top row and it's saying there's a mimic here. If it was a mimic, that would mean that it's lying about there being mimics on the top row. That doesn't really work when itself is in the top row. 2 and 3 is correct, yes. Another way to see it, just to demonstrate some other logic paths, we know one mimic is here because of the accusation, one mimic is here because of the accusation. So because of the implication, we know all the other chests are true, because we only have two mimics and they have to be here. So their statements are also true. Sorry, cough. There is no mimic among the red boxes, so this is true. The top row has at least one mimic, so this is true. So it's just down to this one, and this chest has the same statement as this one. Just another logic path, though it wasn't really needed here. Can a mimic sabotage itself? They don't lie intelligently, they just lie. A mimic will never tell the truth in this game mode. They do in others. But they won't try to trick you, they'll just lie. The top row contains no mimics. The box on the left is not a mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. The bottom row has at least one mimic. There is a mimic among the red boxes. The top row contains no mimics. There is no mimic among the black boxes. Alright, these ones here are not automatically true, because they're in the middle. They can lie about the rows all they want. Short, this game actually does have a Minesweeper mode. It's hard as shit. Because you have normal statements mixed in with just fucking numbers. So far everyone has said 3 and 7. You're sure it's 3 and 7? You don't see any problems with there is no mimic among the black boxes? Yep, that works. If that's lying, then it means there is a mimic among the black boxes. And if this is lying, it means the top row has no mimics, which is what these ones are saying. Okay, since a few people are saying 5, let's analyze that. That would mean that this is true, and there is no mimic among the black boxes. That doesn't work. 3 and 7 is correct. We got an overpowered whip. Yay! See, the black boxes are good to you. Why do you hate them? We have a masseuse. Yes, this is definitely what's happening. Don't think about the pink screen. Chat hasn't died yet. Good on chat. Diagonal down right from me is not a mimic. Down right. The box on the left is a mimic. Diagonal up right from me isn't a mimic. Diagonal up right from me is a mimic. The top row contains no mimics. The box on the left isn't a mimic. I don't know why I read this one first, but this is 7. Diagonal up left from me isn't a mimic. Let's see if you can figure this one out. It's just a long chain of nonsense. Almost everyone said 2 and 5. This is 2, and this is 5. This is solid logic, yes. If 2 is a mimic, then 5 is clearly lying. If 2 isn't a mimic, then 1 is a mimic, but then 5 is still lying. So you know for sure we have 1 mimic here. So, and then every other chest is indirectly accusing this one of being a mimic. You're completely correct. We now get to fight hedgehogs, who have 2 more health than I'd like to, so we can't one-shot them. Never mind, we have a sister that does magic tricks. Now they don't have any health. Back to puzzling. 1 mimic is hiding in the red box. 1 mimic is hiding in a red box. Fucking guess what it says. Yeah, this is a very difficult puzzle. I'm definitely sure you're gonna struggle with figuring out if these 3 statements are true. 1 mimic is hiding in a black box. 1 mimic is hiding in a black box. 2 mimics are hiding in black boxes. 2 mimics are hiding in blue boxes. So, are you done? We have 1 for 6, 7. Any dissenting opinions on that one? 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. We're 2 letters short of a better number. What can you do? We don't have 9 chests yet. Yep, we're all correct except the guy who said 3 and 6. I would like what they are smoking. This is 3, and 3, 2, and 1 all say the same thing. So I'm gonna charitably assume it was a very interesting misclick and just ignore that one. More shops. But now we're loaded with money. This shop is kind of ass because we only have 1 puzzle before the end anyway. So the only thing we want to buy is damage and shop. There's no point in buying the charm because this is the final puzzle. Okay, last puzzle and then we fight the boss. Sadly, the boss is not a puzzle. Diagonal down left from me is a mimic. There is a mimic among the black boxes. There is a mimic among the black boxes. The top row has at least 1 mimic 3 times over. The normal chests just fucking hate the mimics, what the hell. Diagonal up left from me isn't a mimic. Yeah, done. Let's see if you can figure it out. One and 3. So this is 1. 1 is accusing 3 of being a mimic. So they can't both be mimics now, can they? Two and 3. They say the same thing. They're being accused of being mimics. And every other chest is definitely not a mimic. Yeah, that makes sense. You're correct. Now we have another shop here. This guy will give us candy for... You can have them. More health potions. Yeah, so far I'm impressed. Ian has successfully read. So we have 55 attack, so this dude dies in 3 hits. This will be a very difficult fight, as you can imagine. But we pull through. GG chat, you won. You beat the first level of the game and got a Peace Coward Crystal as proof that Ian can read. Great success. Took us almost an hour. We opened every single chest because we gotcha than 1. And we got a score of 99. This is because of the upgrades, don't worry about it. Okay, so we have some other modes. On standard, we have more complicated versions with more floors. I didn't mean to start it. Oops. Let's go back. Yeah, the final chest not eating you is a tragedy. So what do you want to play next? We can play standard, but more complicated, where we have more mimics and more chests. Expert, which is the same as standard, but it adds more rules. Do you want to play harder standard, or do you want to try expert? Chat is not ready for confuse. Let's stay away from confusion from now. By the way, the hardest standard level is actually level 4. The hardest one is doubt or confusion. We'll leave that one for later. No, we'll melt chat's brain, don't worry. We're preparing them, you know. Tricking them into thinking that is easy. Okay, so the level 5 one is 50 floors. That one's much longer. And it's basically a combination of level 1, 2, 3, and 4. It starts at level 1 and then gets much more complicated. Level 4 is, in my opinion, straight up harder, because you just start at the highest difficulty right away. The game is called Mimic Logic. That's why I think level 4 is just straight up harder than level 5. So basically level 4, you get dropped into the deep end. Level 5, it ramps slowly. What do you prefer? A shallow kiddie pool that gets deeper and deeper and deeper and goes on for much longer? Or do you just want to drop into the deep end and see what happens there? Alright, you seem to want a challenge. Let's go level 4. We start with more chests, as you can see, and we start with 3 mimics. Oh wait, you haven't even seen a puzzle with 3 mimics yet. This one's gonna be fun. Oh, come on, it's just a standard difficulty. That's like the easy one. There is no mimic among the red boxes. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. I'm gonna mark chests that are related to each other to help chat cheat through this. Otherwise, we're never finishing this. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. There is a mimic among the red boxes. There is a mimic among the red boxes. There is no mimic among the red boxes. Okay, so these ones are actually hard, so I'm gonna ignore you for a bit and actually just solve it for myself, because the puzzles are real now. Two, 6, and 7 have a contradiction. This is 6, this is 7. They're saying different things, so that's obviously untrue. One, 2, and 6. So most of chat agrees on that. 1, 2, and 6. I'll explain the reasoning here, at least one path towards it, for people who are running different hardware. So, let's assume that these ones are liars, and there is a mimic among the blue boxes. That accounts for every mimic. But there is a mimic among the red boxes. There is a mimic among the red boxes. That doesn't work, so these are correct. Since there is no mimic among the blue boxes are correct, this one is a filthy liar. This one is correct, which means that this one is also correct. Did that explanation make sense to anyone? Anyway, chat got it. Good job. Let's go to the next puzzle. The box on the right is a mimic. The bottom row has at least one mimic. The top row contains no mimics. Diagonal up right from me isn't a mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. Diagonal up right from me isn't a mimic. Done. This one's easier. Much easier puzzle this time. Let's remind you of some old rules to keep you focused. The box on the right is a mimic. Whether it's lying or not, one of these boxes is a mimic, because either the accusation is true or it's lying and therefore a mimic. So either way... Wait, now I'm starting a logic chain. But if there is a mimic here, what happens here? 1, 3, and 7. 1, 6, and 3. Sure. I like that all of you pointed towards 6. 6 is definitely a mimic, yes, because there has to be a mimic here. Most of you also accused one of being a mimic, because there's a mimic on the bottom. That's absolutely correct. No way around it. And what about number 3? Diagonal upright from me isn't a mimic. We can clearly see that it is a mimic. What every other chest says makes no difference. These were the only ones you needed to read. Most of you are correct. Or are you? Oops, that one wasn't me. I clicked the wrong symbol there. That was Silvergun trolling. I'll compensate you and just do 3 puzzles. Yeah, I just clicked the wrong mark without paying attention. Tragic. So the box on the right is a mimic, the box on the left is a mimic, the box on the left is a mimic. That's not possible because we have too many elsewhere, so these are all true. This is the mimic, diagonal upright from me is a mimic, so that one's true. Wait, I fucked up somewhere. So, if these two are mimics, then this is a mimic, so this is true. Then that doesn't work. So these have to be true, obviously. No, I'm just stupid. Why am I thinking they're pointing towards this box? My brain is more fried than chat from reading so much. They're pointing towards totally different boxes. This one's trolling. I actually have to read this properly. So it's just basically just one logic chain. So assuming this one is wrong, I'll solve it for you because I trolled you on the last one. Diagonal down right and diagonal up left. So if this one is a mimic, this one is a mimic, this one isn't. Diagonal upright from me is a mimic. The box on the left isn't a mimic. The box on the right is a mimic. The box on the left is a mimic. Diagonal up left from me isn't a mimic. That doesn't work, so it's the other way around. Because it's all just one logic chain. So this is correct, meaning this is wrong. Diagonal upright from me is a mimic, meaning it's not. So the box on the right is a mimic is lying. The box on the left is a mimic is correct. Diagonal up left from me isn't a mimic is lying. That should be it. Okay, sorry for trolling chat. That one wasn't me. Back to you. Diagonal down left from me is a mimic. The box on the left isn't a mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. That's a more indirect contradiction than usual. The top row has at least one mimic. The box on the left isn't a mimic. Diagonal upright from me is a mimic. The bottom row contains no mimics. One comment said the middle row is all mimics or all good. Yes, you can be correct there. You can have 3 mimics here. So all you have to check with that is, do the other boxes work like this? As you can see, this is logically possible. But just because this is a logically possible configuration, doesn't mean it's the correct one. We can have an alternative one. For example, does that work? It does not. So it has to be the central ones, because if these ones are correct, then this one's a liar, then this one's a liar. This one is accusing the center of being a mimic, which means that this one is also a liar. So it has to be the other way around. 3, 4, 5, as many of you have said. 1, 6, 7 doesn't work because that also implicates 2. So far, chat is at 0 losses. Silvergun is at 1 loss, because he misclicked. The bottom row has at least 1 mimic. There is a mimic among the red boxes. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The top row contains no mimics. The top row contains no mimics. And the bottom row contains no mimics. Sort of, yeah. I just buffed up the hunger stat, so chat has time to answer. I think if we play it with the normal hunger stat, it'd be really difficult. 6, 7, 3. 3, 6, 7. So you're saying the mimics are 3, 6, and 7. So the top row has no mimics. There is a mimic in the red box. Do we have any other possible configuration? What do you think, chat? Is this the only one we can have? Let's test that out after all. I think you can see why this doesn't work. So 367 is correct. The magic luck, saving health. Don't you love getting healed at full health? The top row contains no mimics. The top row has at least 1 mimic. As I've discussed before, just to iterate it again, if a chest on the top row says the top row has at least 1 mimic, it has to be correct. Because if it's lying, that means there would be no mimics, and then that doesn't work. Because a mimic cannot lie about itself in such a way. Diagonal upright from me isn't a mimic. This is upright. Diagonal down right from me isn't a mimic. This is down right. There is no mimic among the black boxes. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Does anyone have any other suggestion other than 1, 3, and 4? If there's no dissenting opinion, should we proceed? We proceed then. Somebody went with 1, 3, 5. Not sure why you trusted 4. Maybe it looked better in red. Shop instead of monsters. Do you want the blue crystals? Finds 1 non-mimic. If you get a 50-50, you can use them to break it open. Slight preference towards having them, if only barely. Don't worry, you'll forget to use them anyway. If you want to use them, just shout blue crystal at me. And I'll buy stuff that keeps us alive through fights. There is no mimic among the red boxes. The top row has at least 1 mimic. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The box on the right is a mimic. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. The top row has at least one mimic. Two mimics hiding in black boxes. No, not blue bow. Blue bows! Why do you think I bought two bows, you potato? Two bows. Blue bows! 1, 4, and 7 is the first guess. Let's see if there's any contradiction. There is no mimic among the red boxes. There is a mimic in the red boxes, and this is a lie. That works. The box on the right is a mimic. And this box, which means it isn't. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. Sure, that works so far. Oops, my mistake. 1, 4. No, this is 4. So we have a contradiction here, because we need a mimic among these ones, right? Because they're contradicting each other. There is a mimic among the blue boxes, there is no mimic among the blue boxes. So it doesn't really seem like you can have 1, 3, 7, can you? You changed your mind to 1, 3, 4, it seems. 1, 3, and 4. Right. Let's follow through. There is no mimic among the red boxes. There is at least one mimic on the top. There is a mimic among the blue boxes is a lie, so this one's correct. Naturally, this one is in the clear then. And then, by exclusion, this one has to be correct as well. So I think you're split between 1, 3, 7 and 1, 3, 4. So I'll let you test out whichever version you want. For now, let's clean the board. 1, 3, 4 or 1, 3, 7. I'll also give you the option to blue bow, of course. If so far everyone voted for 1, 3, 4. Okay, with a majority vote, we designate that 1, 3, and 4 are all nasty mimics. One, 3, 7 had a contradiction between 4 and 5. So it couldn't be that. Good job, chat. You're staying locked in. We'll buy some food after our long trip of not getting eaten by mimics. And because we already had a shop, we're broke as shit. We sold all of our extra equipment for 0 gold. We already have blue crystals. I'll buy health potions so we don't die to stupid shit. Okay, now we have the good shit. There is no mimic among the red boxes. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The top row contains no mimics. The rightmost column has one or more mimics. The bottom row has at least one mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. The top row contains no mimic. The bottom row has at least one mimic. The top row contains no mimics. This one's easy. You manage, you manage. Chat hasn't died yet. I killed them once on accident, but chat hasn't died. First call is on 3, 7, and 9, because they're all saying the same shit. Drinking some water. So that would mean that the top row has at least one mimic. So every other one has to be right. This is a good thing to try first in general. because if you have 3 chests that are all wrong, that accounts for all the mimics. So then you can quickly check if everything else is correct. Does the bottom row have a mimic? Yep. Does the top row have a mimic? Yep. Mimic in a blue box? Yep. Rightmost column? Yep. No mimic in red boxes. So that accounts for everything. Here's a very quick way you can reach this for people who are just here to watch. So we know this one is correct, no matter what any other chest says. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. Because it cannot be referring to itself. If it was a mimic, this would be a lie. So it can't be a mimic inside. So something else has to be a mimic. The bottom row has at least one mimic. This one has to be true for a similar logic. It's on the bottom row itself. If it's lying, it would mean that there is no mimic on the bottom row. A paradox. Since these are correct, one of these has to be wrong, and they all say the same shit. Good job, chat. Not getting intimidated by the number 9. Is 7 scarier for you? Like, because it ate 9? The box below me is a mimic. There is a mimic among the black boxes. There is a mimic among the red boxes. The box on the right isn't a mimic. There is a mimic among the red boxes. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. There is no mimic among the red boxes. There is a mimic among the red boxes. The box above me is a mimic. I finished this before I finished reading it, holy shit. Just dropping some numbers to help you here and there. Seven has to be a mimic. Yeah, that's pretty likely. But what if it isn't a mimic? Have you thought about that? 7 and 9. So you think 1, 7 and 9. Alright, I'll mark them. 1, 7 and 9. Which means that this one is correct. And therefore all of these are correct. If we have them the other way around, if this one is a mimic, then this is a mimic, this is a mimic, this is a mimic. 4 mimics. That's one too many. So this grouping has to be correct. One, 7, 9. You all seem to be pretty in one voice on this. Before we are going, let's quickly check if we have any other configurations. So this is definitely a mimic and this is a mimic. So we only have one mimic left. How do we know that it's this one that's a mimic though? Because if this one is true, it means this is a mimic. Which means there's a mimic in a blue box. That doesn't really work now, does it? We don't have that many mimics. The number of mimics is always the biggest clue. Why is the first chest always a mimic? For people who go and open stuff sequentially without reading, it's probably the strongest mimic and it's just there after fighting the other mimics to get to the food first, in case the food is stupid. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. There is no mimic among the red boxes. There is no mimic among the black boxes. You're all assholes. There is no mimic among the black boxes. There is a mimic among the black boxes. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. Same as 6 and 9 are the same. Afraid of 7. There is a mimic among the red boxes. There is a mimic among the black boxes. Right. I'll help a bit. And group related statements together. First vote comes out to 2, 5, and 7 being mimics. 7 is this. 2 and 7 are contradictory, so I don't see that one. 258 is what you settled on. Two, 3, 4, 2, 3, 7. Holy shit, we're all over the place with numbers today. 2, 3, and 4. That's not impossible, yes? 258. Yeah, 258 is possible. So I think you've mostly coalesced to 234 and 258. You want to blue bow or what? But blue bows are a special resource. Are you sure, chat? Just a special favor. Let's see if I can help a bit. Right, so... You notice that there's 3 boxes that say the exact same fucking thing, right? There is no mimic among the blue boxes. Let's say they're wrong real quick. Right? So that means there is a mimic among the blue boxes. That works as far as they're concerned. But then, we have boxes that don't agree with that. And we have to have mimics in other places. That doesn't really work, right? So, we can tell that these 3 are correct. So if there is no mimic among the blue boxes is correct, then there is a mimic among the red boxes. Though you could tell that from the numbers, obviously. The super blue bow. No, there are 3 liars. You want to avoid opening the liars, but open all the others. So there are 3 liars among these. I'm going to give you one more hint. 2 has to be a liar because the rest of the statements are in a contradiction. But either way, there is a mimic among the red boxes, no matter which statement is correct. So it's worthless. Therefore, we have to use a blue bow to split it and solve the 50-50. Yeah, we can open any one chest we want. Let's not open this one. So, I opened these ones, because otherwise the blue bow may not have resolved the 50-50 properly. We blue bowed and learned that there is no mimic among the black boxes. So, 2, 5, and 8 are the mimics. Blue bow was absolutely the correct choice here, because there is nothing preventing this from being correct. There is no logically incorrect problem here. Apparently, if we don't have any blue bows, we should trust Pseudo. Since you're all gacha players, and we'll do that instead of just not opening the fucking chest. Die, birds, die! Don't worry, my bows are better. There is no mimic among the black boxes. The leftmost column contains no mimics. The box below me isn't a mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. The bottom row has at least one mimic. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. The box above me isn't a mimic. The box above me isn't a mimic. Holy shit, this was a stupid one. I finished it before I finished reading it. If that's a random... Don't know if it's a random guess. It's not wrong, though. Like, we just have 6 chests saying, fuck those other guys, we don't like him. Yep. That was just a free win. Not even gonna pull you, it's a waste of time. Don't use the axe. We're fighting grass to get +1 attack. We have a bunch of health potions, so that's perfectly fine. Leftmost column has 1 or more mimics. There is a mimic among the red boxes. The box on the left is a mimic. The box on the left isn't a mimic. 0 mimics are hiding in black boxes. Why am I reading them like this? Sorry. The box on the right is a mimic. The rightmost column has 1 or more mimics. The box above me isn't a mimic. 0 mimics hiding in black boxes. Nah, it's standard for now. Chat is good at this though, so you might go to higher difficulty. Alright, since I removed it earlier because stream was wagging, let's see if I can reintroduce the wagginess. Yeah, you have the rules there. Was fucking with stream, so let's see. 2, 4, and 7. 1, 3, 4, 3, 5, and 7. You really don't like 7 for some reason, which is probably correct, but no spoil. 1 and 5 is always true. To explain what sneezer means, the leftmost column is this one. This chest is referring to itself. If it was lying, it would mean that there is no liar on the left column. So it can't be a liar, which means it's true, because it's the only option. That's how what he means by these are always true. 2, 4, 7 or 3, 4, 7. I couldn't instantly solve this by looking at it, so I'm tempted to spend a bit of time thinking through it, but then I might actually click a bunch of stuff and reveal the answer, so I'll hold back for now. So most people are going with 2, 4, and 7. You can see that 4 is wrong, because we know from this chest that this chest is correct. So the box on the right is a mimic, is a lie. That's the only one we know for sure immediately. So, let's see if most people agree with 2, 4, 7. Or you think something else. That's what most of you have said, but maybe a lot of you are still thinking, because I'm still seeing discussion. Let's see what you think, and then I'll take you through it. Pretty much everyone agrees with it. This one works with that. The box on the left is a mimic, isn't a mimic, works. 0 mimics are hiding in black boxes, and the box above me isn't a mimic. Yeah, that works. But is it possible to have a different configuration? This one is a mimic for sure. But for example, and just for example, chat that agrees with 2, 4, 7, let's say that 2 isn't a mimic, and there is a mimic on the right side. Say there is also a mimic in the red box, so this one is lying. That's not really contradictory now, is it? Do you see a contradiction I don't? back to why 1 and 5 are always true. We know 1 is true because the leftmost column has 1 or more mimics. So, this is a statement, right? This is on the leftmost column. If it was a lie, it would mean, then the statement would be... So if this statement is a lie, the truth would be that there are no mimics on the left column. So a mimic, a liar, cannot say that in this game mode. You keep saying it needs more mimics. What do you mean? Are you talking about what I set up earlier or something else? Anyhow, we know this one is definitely a mimic because we know this one is true. We know this one is true because this one has to be true due to its positioning. Anyhow, the rightmost column has 1 or more mimic. If this is true, say this is fake, this is true. The box above me isn't a mimic, isn't a mimic. Alright, we're short 1 mimic with this setup. Any place where we can get 1 more mimic? Nope, not with this setup. So this one has to be true. And if we have, for example, this, if this is a liar, which we know it isn't. So this is definitely true, this is definitely true, this is the only setup. 2, 4, 7 is correct, yeah. Because we lose 1 chest if we flip them around and there is nowhere else to put it. Good job. 2, 4, 7 is correct. Let's see, I haven't fucked anything up. 2, 4, 7. Yep. Final fight. Wait, really? The axe is the best weapon we have? Fuck off. Yeah, we have one that's not gonna break in 3 seconds. That works for me. Don't worry about their health, we're fine. That's why I buy every fucking health pot in this game. Our pajamas are going to break though. Let's put on shittier pajamas. Now we're not wearing any pants. Kind of wish this game had a walk. So I don't have to actively look at my health. Okay, this guy offers you a gacha ticket for 200 gold. As I'm sure you're all aware, lottery tickets are a tax on the poor, but you're also gacha players, so I'm sure you don't shy away from that. You got 400 gold for 200 gold. I thought for a second you were actually going to win the big 1000 gold prize, and my heart sank. Okay, some setup so we can actually win the fight. We don't have a whetstone. Okay, do you want to shell out money to buy a charm? This is a woos charm. It will prevent you from being eaten by a chest. Do you want it, or do you want to skip it and buy more attack to see that number rise up? I'm going to buy the Hio anyway. This isn't the Hio isn't a debate. Charm is worse than Blue Bow. No, Charm saves you when you brain dead, so it's better than Blue Bow. Blue Bow you have to actively use. It is expensive as hell though and costs 4 attack. Okay, I managed to gaslight you into not buying a second life. We're going to spend that on buying attack. We can't use this stuff because it's gonna break on the next hit anyway. And the axe isn't much better. So we're gonna go to the halberd. And sell everything else for even more money. We're out of attack candy though. Do you want to buy the charm now or do we just stack defense? I play it in the morning. It's a good way to wake up. Okay, now we have stats. We might not die to the last boss. Oops. There is a mimic among the black boxes. Same as this one. There is no mimic among the red boxes. There is no mimic among the black boxes. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. And there is a mimic among the blue boxes. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. And done. That was easy. Three, 5, 8. Uh-huh. That one was a really stupid one. For those of us that just spectate. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. Has to be correct because it's referring to itself. A mimic cannot say this because mimics always lie. And it doesn't work for this to be a lie. This says the same shit, so it's correct. So this one's a fucking liar. This one says the same shit as this one, so it's correct. So this one's a fucking liar. This one says the same shit as that fucking liar, so it's a fucking liar. So you're just done. That's it. Other chests presumably say things, I don't know, I didn't read. The rightmost column contains no mimics. The bottom row has at least one mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. The bottom row has at least one mimic. The bottom row contains no mimics. The bottom row has at least one mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. The bottom row has at least one mimic. The leftmost column contains no mimics. Super easy one again. There are other types of lies they can tell, but it depends on the game mode. In this game mode, they just mean the opposite of what is written. On expert mode, you have statements that don't necessarily have a direct negation. Like, for example, on expert they can say something like the top has more mimics than the bottom. Whether that's true or false, it doesn't mean there's no mimics in the middle, for example. 1, 5, 9. Yep, you're done. So, this is correct automatically, because it's on the top, and it says there's a mimic on the top. A mimic cannot say that. This is correct automatically, because the same logic applies to this one at the bottom, and they say the same shit. So this one is a fucking liar. Therefore there has to be a mimic on this row. And we already know these ones are correct, so it has to be this one. And since this is a mimic, this is a mimic. A shop. Aggressively unhelpful shop because we're gonna have another one. We already have a blue crystal that we haven't used in forever. So we're just buying more attack, stacking attack forever. The leftmost column has one or more mimics. The top row contains no mimics. The leftmost column has one or more mimics. The leftmost column contains no mimics. The leftmost column has one or more mimics. The top row contains no mimics. The top row has at least one mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. And the rightmost column has at least one mimic. Anyone finished it yet? While I was reading them? You said 1, 5, 9. You're still talking about the last one. 2, 4, 6, 4, 7, and 8. 4, 7, and 8. Sure. Let's try that one out. See where it leads you. What about this one? The rightmost column has one or more mimics. Where's the mimic go here? We don't have a mimic on the right. So it doesn't seem to be 4, 7, 8 because of that. You think there's a 50-50. Sorry, Shard, you're wrong. There definitely isn't. Right. Usual logic. The leftmost column has one or more mimics is correct, because it's on the left. A liar cannot say that, because it's a paradox. So this one is full of shit. This one is correct, because it says the same shit. This one is correct, because it says the same shit. We now have an argument between these two with no way to resolve it. But, coming out from the 9th spot, winning with the chair, the rightmost column has one or more mimic. This one is correct, because it's on the right. It cannot be wrong, because it's talking about itself. If it was a liar, then the actual truth would be that there is no mimic on the right, but then it couldn't exist, so it has to be a truth teller. Which means the top row contains no mimic is wrong. So this one is wrong. 2, 4, 6 being the only option. There's no 50-50. And now we get to kill some hedgehogs as a reward. What more can you ask from life? Oh, and we only got hit once. The magic RNG carrying. 3 more puzzles to go. The box on the right isn't a mimic. The box on the left isn't a mimic. I'm shocked we haven't seen this yet, but they're talking about each other, so either they're both mimics or none of them is. The leftmost column has one or more mimics. There is no mimic among the red boxes. The box on the right isn't a mimic. The top row contains no mimics. The rightmost column contains no mimics. The box on the left is a mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. Pseudo is saying 4 is full of shit. To just demonstrate their logic, let's say this is true. Where does the third mimic go then? Something doesn't add up here. It smells weird. Also, we have a contradiction here. Yep, you're completely right. This one can't be true. Six and 7, 8 and 9. I also saw somebody blaming 1 and 2. 6 and 7. If 7 is a liar, that means there is a mimic on the right side. This is possible. No contradiction there. But what about the top row has at least one mimic? Where is that mimic then? 4, 7 and 9. Is one option. 4, 8 and 9 is another. Six, 9 is contradictory, yes. You're also correct in that these ones are a contradiction. Between 7 and 8, only one of them can be correct. To help you out a little bit, because this becomes really easy. So, we have one mimic here, right? There's a contradiction here, so there's one mimic here. There's a contradiction here, so there's another mimic here. That's 3 mimics. So what about the chests that are not part of that contradiction? They're all correct. So if this chest is correct, I think I fucked up the hint and just solved the puzzle. Oops. Yep, it's 479. Most of you got it though. Let me see, I haven't fucked anything up right before the boss. The box on the left, this is left, yep. The box on the right, this is right, yep. I knew I haven't. If I was playing so I wouldn't have double checked it. I'm playing with other people's time though. Ah yes, we got another massage. Don't think about the pink light. The leftmost column contains no mimics. The top row has at least one mimic. The box below me is not a mimic. There is a mimic among the red boxes. The leftmost column has one or more mimic. The bottom row has at least one mimic. There is a mimic among the red boxes. There is a mimic among the black boxes. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. Is this a hard one? I wasn't paying attention. Wait, let me just go through it. Ah, so it's hard if you don't solve it by the time you go through it. Fair enough. 2, 7, and 8 have to be true. This is correct. Quite obviously, these two say the same shit. So we add them together. One, 3, and 9. Let's go with that for a bit. So if 1, 3... What the fuck do you all have? Why do you all have such a problem with 3? Okay, so if 3 is a mimic, the box below me isn't a mimic, then this one has to also be a mimic. So if 3 is a mimic, 6 is also a mimic, necessarily. Let me just open the ones you know for sure, to help you out. And we'll mark these statements together in places where there's some relation going on. Okay, do you want to blue ball? A good point is that one of the black chests has to be a mimic. Even if you ignore this chest, it doesn't work otherwise. There's not enough mimics to go around. That was a way too big of a hint. Oops. Okay, so now you're thinking about 3-6. If these two are mimics, that means the bottom one isn't, and then you have a 50-50. Okay, so you want me to blue ball. Should I open 3-6 before I blue ball? Let me make sure that's what you want to do. I have some thoughts on that. So I want to know if that's what you're actually planning to do. I like the neutral might be a mimic from you. Okay, you mean you're trying to tell me that 3 and 6 are mimics? Is that right? Some of the chat is for mimics. So I'll ask again. Are you trying to say that 3 and 6 are mimics? Yeah, we've been infiltrated by mimics potentially. Okay, alright. So we agreed 3 and 6 are mimics. So, is there any chest we can open before a blue bow? What can you infer from 3 and 6 being mimics? If the bottom row has at least one mimic is a lie, is there something we can infer from that? Okay, okay. We got it. Nah, you're safe. The statements aren't even. You got it, you got it. Then we can go home. No, the bottom statement does not mean there's only one mimic in the black chests. It means there is a mimic in the black chests. That's all that it means. There could be 55 mimics in the black chests for all you know. You cannot infer anything more from that statement. Okay, now we're loaded with money. Yes, we can buy more blue crystals for the boss that isn't a puzzle. GG chat, you beat the hardest easy mode in the game. Now we can go play something more mind-melting. Spam range attacks. How high does the attack go? 65, not bad. You want me to blue bow the boss? Sadly, we can't blue bow him. I can tornado his scrotum though. It does 5 damage. I'll just take it. Good job, chat. No chests missed. Pretty good job. Okay, so this is basically the easiest mode there is. There's nothing below it, but you beat it on the hardest. The next difficulty is Expert. It's pretty much the same, but it adds more rules the chests can use to throw you, like diagonals start mattering and shit, and cowers and whatnot. We have some other modes though. Two that are very well known are Doubt. Mimics only tell the truth, but all normal boxes the same cover as that mimic will lie. This one will fuck you up. You're gonna die on the first 10 floors, guaranteed. Confuse. One confused box is mixed in with the rest. Confused boxes always tell lies, however, they are not treated as mimics and therefore safe to open. So, do you want to chew an expert or have your brain melted? Robbers is just chests that steal money from you. It's easy. It's really easy. You want to have your brain melted. Well, in your defense, you haven't lost the run yet. I'm probably overpiloting a bit. Though, in my defense, the only run that we lost today is because I misclicked something. Okay, brain melting. What sounds more brain melting to you? Mimics can tell the truth? Or... Doubt is my personal favorite. So I hope we pick that. I wanna see you die horrifically on that one. Let's go. I fucking love Doubt. I think Confusion is actually harder than Doubt, if you really get the logic of Doubt. Okay, I'm gonna start you at level 1, because Doubt is on another level. Okay, explaining the rules. One mimic within these 6 boxes. Mimics only tell the truth, but all normal boxes, the same color as that mimic, will lie. Let's hide the other rules because they're no longer true. On this mode, I didn't think we'd get to it so fast. So, to demonstrate with chests we can actually see in front of us, let's say that this is a mimic among the black boxes, is itself a mimic. What it's saying will be true, and the black box will be a mimic. But these statements will be a lie, so this will be safe to open, but it will mean there is a mimic among the red boxes. And there is no mimic among the blue boxes, would be safe to open, but would mean that there is someone, that this is a lie and there is a mimic here. I'm seeing a few votes that one is the mimic. Yep, you're getting the logic. One is the mimic. Because only a mimic can say this. In this mode, only a mimic can ever say this. Where it refers to its own, to itself, and says there's a mimic there. A non-mimic chest cannot say that. Yep, you get it. Mimics can accuse themselves. Other chests can only accuse them if they're not in their vicinity. If they're the same color, they're getting it. The left column contains no mimics. Conversely, a mimic cannot say this. If this is a mimic, then this statement also has to be true. That doesn't work, right? So a mimic cannot say, referring to itself, I am not a mimic. The leftmost column contains no mimics. The top row contains a mimic. The leftmost column contains no mimic. The bottom row contains no mimics. The leftmost column contains a mimic. The bottom row contains no mimics. Okay, so we have 1 vote for 3 and 1 vote for 2. More votes coming in for 3. You might notice, and 1 vote for 4. Okay, so there is 2 problems with 4 being a mimic. Let's start with that. First, there's 1 mimic, but there's 2 blue chests that say the same thing. Chest colors are super important here. What else did you say? 2. Yes, that's one option. It could be true on its own. But it could also not be a mimic. And then it's just talking about one of the others. There's no other red chest, so either way this statement is correct, whether it's a mimic or not. Most of you are saying 3, that's correct, this is the mimic. From this chest, we know it's on the top, and we can see the other black chest is saying the opposite. Since there's only one mimic, you got it. Yeah, lies aren't necessarily contradictions. You're getting the gist of it. The box below me is a mimic. Discard normal logic here. It's entirely possible for neither of them to be a mimic. The box on the left isn't a mimic. The box on the left isn't a mimic. The box on the right isn't a mimic. The box above me isn't a mimic. The box on the left isn't a mimic. So first vote goes for 2 and 5. If this is the mimic, the box on the left isn't a mimic, the box on the right isn't a mimic. It follows based on what all the other ones are saying. Okay, I don't see anyone else thinking something else, so we're gonna open and find out. Yep, doubt is really easy until you get the second mimic. Once the second mimic hits the chest, you're gonna start wondering why this mode is called doubt instead of confusion. The rightmost column contains a mimic. There is a mimic among the black boxes. The leftmost column contains no mimic. The leftmost column contains no mimic. The leftmost column contains no mimic. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. Now we're still only at one mimic. We don't have the second mimic quite yet. It's mimic logic. Puzzle game for doors on Steam. It's really good. So I talked about this logic before. Yeah, I guess you get it. Only a mimic can say this, because mimics tell the truth. If it wasn't a mimic, it wouldn't be able to say this. You get it, you get it. One additional thing to point out that will be useful to later. Since somebody said 6 is the mimic, let's imagine that's true for a moment. 6 is a mimic, and it's saying that the blue box has a mimic. But it's not lying. So there must be another mimic in the blue boxes. But that doesn't work, we don't have enough mimics. Just a useful logic to remember. No, it's not forced to be any color. That's just how the RNG rolls. You're all just racist, what can I tell you? The leftmost column contains no mimics. There is a mimic among the red boxes. The box on the left isn't a mimic. Another helpful thing. This chest may be a mimic. Maybe it isn't. Either way, it's correct. Because if there is no mimic of the same color, then the normal chests tell the truth. Anyhow, this puzzle is done, so I'm not reading the rest of it. Except it's not. Trolley puzzle. This is the correct setup. Very common setup. The leftmost column contains no mimics. This isn't a mimic for sure, but it's also lying. Is there a rule set I can read? Here. Pause this and read it. That's about it. Yep, 4 is the Mimic, you're correct. In this game mode, Mimics never lie. In every other game mode they lie, except this one. In this one they always tell the truth. And some of the normal chests lie, just to fuck with you. They've had enough of your shit. Stealing their hard-earned food every day. You're gonna get it now. What about once we have 3 Mimics though? Are you ready for the third Doubt Mimic? We're just buying this, it's not a discussion. You're gonna need them, trust. There are 2 Mimics from here on. Chat, the second Mimic has hit the chests. There is no Mimic among the black boxes. There is no Mimic among the red boxes. There is a Mimic among the red boxes. There is a Mimic among the red boxes. There is no Mimic among the blue boxes. There is a Mimic among the black boxes. Right, I'll try to stop helping so much. So, 2 useful things to notice. This is a Mimic, because only a Mimic can possibly say this. So this statement is always a Mimic in this game mode. The opposite of how it works normally. This is true, but it doesn't mean that this is a Mimic. This directly contradicts the Mimic, so we know it's not a Mimic. And finally, you know for sure this isn't a Mimic, for the same reason you know this is a Mimic. A Mimic cannot say this. Can you figure out where the second Mimic is? I have multiple votes for 3 and 5. Okay, so everyone is saying 3 and 5. Are you sure you want to do that? And that it's not a 50-50 though. Can Mimics be the only chest in their cover? Yes, a Mimic can be the only chest of its cover. You're completely correct on that. Okay, so most of us want to open 3-5 and don't want to blue. I saw somebody saying that 3 and 5 is forced. Let's test this for a bit. So, obviously these 2 we can open safely. This is a Mimic for sure, and we know this is a lie. So you're assuming that this is also a lie because it's together with the Mimic. But what if this is a Mimic? And there's just no Mimic anywhere else? Potentially, chat died a bit there. What you can infer though is that the blue one can't be a Mimic. Because then this statement is true. But how could it be true if it's not a Mimic, but connected to a Mimic? So you can infer that the blue chest isn't a Mimic. There is a Mimic among the red boxes means only that. There might be 1 Mimic, there might be 25. That's all the information you get out of that statement. Don't worry, Cat. I convinced chat to play it on the hardest mode, but we're still on the tutorial of the hardest mode. We'll go into the real hardest mode later. Okay, and then this is a 50-50, so we have to blue bow. I'm kind of gonna cheat a lot for now, because we're in the tutorial of the doubt mode. I wanna explain the logic for you before I let you kill yourselves. So we're still hand holding. There is a mimic among the red boxes. There is no mimic among the red boxes. There is a mimic among the black boxes. There is no mimic among the black boxes. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. Two of the mimics are not neighbors. This is the easiest doubt mode. It's the only tutorial you're gonna get. EO is saying... This is sound logic. So we know this has to be a mimic, because mimics never lie in this game mode. So this is a mimic. But why can't it be other blue box? If this is a mimic, it still fulfills this condition of this being a lie and this being a lie. But then where does the third mimic come from? That doesn't really work now, does it? And this block just confirms for itself that there's no mimic in there. Therefore, 1 and 6. What about the other option though? What if it's 1 and 4, as somebody is saying? And this is correct. Well, if there is no blue mimic, then the blue statements are correct. And this doesn't match reality, and this doesn't match reality, because these two mimics are definitely neighbors. I think you're getting the hang of it. You'll be fine, you'll be fine. I'm just buying more blue crystals for you, trust me. We'll make use of them eventually. The bottom row has at least one mimic. The leftmost column contains no mimics. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The rightmost column contains no mimics. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The leftmost column has one or more mimics. This is really easy. Okay, so the rule here, Azraelin, mimics always tell the truth. Non-mimics that are the same color as a mimic lie. Why did two people just say 2, 3? Let's check. I haven't actually read the chest myself. Right, so if 2 and 3, that means these other statements have to be lies. So then, the leftmost column has one or more mimics, is a lie, because it contradicts this. The bottom row has at least one mimic, is a lie. The rightmost column contains no mimic, a lie. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. So that works, but is that the only possible configuration we can have? Everything here is lying, yes, but... Then this is still a lie, this is a lie, this is true, and this is true. So the only thing you know for sure so far is that this one is indeed a mimic. Yes, could be 3-5 as well. You know this one cannot be a mimic though, very easily, because if this is a mimic we don't have enough chests here. Yeah, the 50-50s is how they get you. We know this isn't a mimic, because we can see the mimic over there. And we know this isn't a mimic, because there's not enough mimics to go there. So, we can open these, and then use a blue bow. Fucking pseudo, do you get every 50-50 right from the start? Fuck off. Why do you even have blue bows? Just ask what... just go with whatever he says. I don't think they've been wrong yet. The box below me is a mimic. Okay, so if it's the only one of its color, then it's definitely correct. Maybe it's a mimic, maybe it isn't, but it is correct. So this is a mimic. The box on the right is a mimic. Oh, that just finishes the entire puzzle, doesn't it? Oops, never mind. It's pointing elsewhere, so it doesn't. I mistook left and right. No! Now I can't make fun of other people doing it for one day. Okay, so the box below me is a mimic. The box below me is a mimic. The box below me isn't a mimic. The box on the right is a mimic. The box above me isn't a mimic. You're saying 3. Yeah, then we have a lie here. The box on the right is a mimic. Another lie. The box below me is a mimic. That works. Do we have any other possible configuration you can think of? We have one person. Oh, that's used to do. Let's see. I just opened this to get it out of the way. What if this is a mimic? That doesn't work. Okay. 3 and 6 make sense. Sorry, 3 and 4. Should we just open 3 and 4? One doesn't need confirmation. It's very easy. The box below me is a mimic. Whether this is a mimic or not, the box below it is a mimic. It's the only one of its color, so it's definitely true. Now we know this is a mimic, and it's saying that 1 isn't a mimic. Since it's a mimic, it's definitely true. That's how we confirmed it. Okay, 3 and 4 mimics. Let's go. Staying alive. We can't buy anything from the shop. The lowest price is 236. So, the leftmost column has 1 or more mimics. This isn't always true here. Or it could be true, but there could be no mimics here. It's how it works. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. There is no mimic among the red boxes. The box on the right isn't a mimic. The box above me isn't a mimic. What kind of gave it away? There is a mimic among the red boxes. Six, 5 is your short guess. 6 makes sense, yes. Only a mimic can say this after all. And then you're also assuming. Then this is a lie, this is a lie, this is a lie, and this is a lie. Yeah, that works fine. I have a question for you though. What if this is the mimic instead? Then this one would say the box above me is a mimic, which is why it doesn't work. And this one can't be a mimic, because a mimic can't say this. A mimic can't say this, because we know it's not true. And they can't say this, because it would definitely be a lie. So yeah, 5 and 6. There is one more thing. What if this was the mimic instead? That doesn't work, because then this statement would be correct, and we'd have 0 mimics. One shot. Oh, shit. No, I broke the axe. God damn it. Didn't notice it's about to break. I could have sold it for a scam price. I'm so disappointed in myself. The axe, no. Oh, we don't need to eat, we're at full health. Probably have items for gut, right? No, we don't. Fuck. Maybe I don't need to eat. And then we had a whetstone. Okay, I'm gonna buy an axe because there's no guarantee we're actually gonna get a better weapon. I'll buy a second blue crystal because the last 10 floors give the most gold and best items. And we'll go. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. There is a mimic among the black boxes. 3 blue chests all saying there is no mimic among the blue boxes. Are you done with it? And this one's just sleeping, don't bother him. What are the rules of the game? My throat is dry from explaining them, so here's the sign. Do you see the rules? Pause here and you can read them. This is the hardest mode, so don't worry if it's complicated. 2 and 6. Motherfucker, this is 6. It's doubt, yeah. Chat still hasn't died of doubt. Yeah, you're correct. Very easy way to confirm this. The blue ones can't have a mimic, because they're all saying the same shit and there's not enough mimics. Also, mimics can't say this. So then the mimic has to be black, which means this statement is true, so that's a mimic. And this is just something only a mimic can say. Super easy one. There is a method to wake up this chest, but we don't need to do that. Or I also don't think we have the tools to do it, but besides the point. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. There is no mimic among the red boxes. This one. There is a mimic among the red boxes. They're flirting with each other. There is a mimic among the black boxes. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. There is a mimic among the red boxes. Diagonal up left from me isn't a mimic. Is this still doubt? Yeah, we're playing doubt. Yep, 5 and 6. You can tell that there's a mimic in the blue boxes because we have a contradiction among the blue boxes. So one of them has to be a mimic. We know for sure this is a mimic, and it also happens to give us the correct answer to this contradiction. What every other chest says literally doesn't matter. 5 and 6 is correct. This axe is fragile. We should probably save the durability on it for the boss, in case we don't get anything worthwhile. There is no mimic among the red boxes. Diagonal down left from me is a mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. The box on the right is a mimic. The top row contains no mimics. There is a mimic among the black boxes. There is a mimic among the red boxes. As you can see, you can slow down the hunger bar a ton with upgrades, so it's not, and you have food to restore it. So it's not that big of a deal. Only if you're playing really the hardest modes. And without upgrades, then it matters. 1 and 3. Right, so you're saying 1 and 3. I haven't run through it myself, but let's finish the logic. Contradiction here, so that works. Diagonal down left from me is a mimic. Lie, so that works. This one is saying there's a black one, but it's the only one of its color, so that works. This one is lying, so that works. The box on the right is a mimic. Yes, this is one valid combination, but with doubt you can very often run into multiple valid combination, because moving one mimic flips an entire statement. Here's a quick way to confirm that the red chest isn't a mimic. Let's say it's a mimic, and then we have a mimic here. Doesn't matter which. Then this doesn't work. We also have a contradiction here, so one of these has to be a mimic. Since we saw that red can't be a mimic, we know this statement is correct. We know this is a lie, even without looking at the other one. And we know there's a mimic here saying the truth. So yep, 1 and 3 is correct. Oh no, the Birds of Death. They hit really hard. Yeah, I'm just gonna burn this. It doesn't actually make sense. Those two die in 2 hits. Hate birds. Go away, birds. Not that bad if you can 2-shot them, of course. Oh, the mimics are the same cover. Oh, the mimics are the same cover. Oh, the mimics are the same cover. The box on the left isn't a mimic. Diagonal down left from me isn't a mimic. The box on the right isn't a mimic. We're almost at the end of the tutorial. Let's show the most important connection. You can infer that one of the mimics is red. Yes, doubt will damage your brain. Of that there is no concern. 1 and 4. Yeah, that's correct. Good job. Maybe I shouldn't have spoiled it. Let me just show why it's correct. Okay, so we have a contradiction here, so one of them has to be red. Let's say this is true. Then what the fuck is going on here? These ones have to be true, but they contradict the mimic, and there's no liar around. So this one can't be the mimic. This is the mimic then. We don't have enough mimics for the black ones. We know this isn't a mimic, and since they're the same color, the only one thing that's left is here. And that's it. It's 1 and 4. Easy, very sortable one. It's easier than the regular mode because it's the lowest difficulty. You'll see for yourself how complicated it gets. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. 0 mimics are hiding in blue boxes, and this is the only blue box. 1 mimic is hiding in a blue box. 1 mimic is hiding in a black box. There is no mimic among the black boxes. 1 mimic is hiding in a red box. Well, that just resolved itself. Yep, 5 and 6, obviously. To demonstrate why, this one just says it's not a mimic. Normally that means they're a mimic 99% of the time, but when you play Doubt, just saying I am not a mimic means it's not a mimic. So these ones are full of shit, but chests that are full of shit are not mimics in this mode. So that just leaves this one. Though it's referring to itself in the first place. This one is wrong on the basis of this one. And we only have 1 mimic. Final puzzle done. You survived Doubt. And most of your brains aren't melted. I know you like the gacha, so you get taxed for being poor. Well, you still made 100 gold, but you know. Stack attack. Well, we have the stats to beat the boss. Yes, very easily. Can we avoid healing? Yep. Oh well. 7k score. No, wait, I'm wrong. This one just didn't use gems. My bad. 3,400 is pretty decent though, because you make less core when you use a bunch of upgrades, and I'm using upgrades to slow down the feed. Okay, we've confirmed that Ian can indeed read. You've done pretty well. Haven't managed to die to anything. Do you want to try the hardest version of Doubt to see what it's really like? If not, I can show you Confusion too. If you say no, I'll pick Confusion instead. %90 preference for Doubt 4. Alright, let's dive into hell. Now you're in for it. We start with 9 chests, but only 2 mimics. The top row has at least 1 mimic. The leftmost column has 1 or more mimics. The rightmost column has 1 or more mimics. The leftmost column contains no mimics. The top row has at least 1 mimic. The bottom row contains no mimics. The top row contains no mimic. The top row contains no mimic. The top row has at least 1 mimic. Okay, this one's pretty easy. I'll give you a moment. You're going with 1 tree. Okay, so these are both true for themselves. The bottom row contains no mimics. True, true, true. This is true. This one is false, but it's lying, so that works. And these ones are false, but lying. Do you want me to walk in 1 tree? Yes, the mimics are telling the truth here. Do we walk on 1 tree, or do we search for other combinations? Hmm, 3, 9. Looking through that. That would mean that this has to be a mimic as well. Doesn't really work. Okay, most of you are locking in. I'll try to give less hints than before. If it was 3, 9, 5 would also have to be a mimic. That's why it can't be that one. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The leftmost column contains no mimics. The bottom row has at least 1 mimic. There is a mimic among the red boxes. The leftmost column contains no mimics. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The leftmost column has 1 or more mimics. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. No, we don't have any mimics. How could you say this? 1 and 4 is the first guess. That's wrong, so I'm not gonna immediately go tag it. I'll give you some time to think. Black has a mimic. This is a good observation by Pseudo. One of these has to be wrong, so there is a mimic here. So most of you are saying 3 and 7 are mimics. Let's follow through that logic and see if it makes any sense. So, all of the red boxes other than this one are liars. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. Check. The leftmost column contains no mimics. Check. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The blue boxes are both correct. This one is lying, and this one is lying. This is valid, yes. But now you have to question if there's another possible position. Because maybe this isn't the only one that makes sense. Is 2-5 possible instead? The leftmost column contains no mimic. The leftmost column contains no mimic. The black chests are lying because of this one. The red chests are lying because of this one. Yeah, this is another perfectly valid position. 4-7 is this. That's also possible, I think. I checked it earlier, but I'll double check the logic for now. Okay, 4-7 doesn't work. 4-7 doesn't work because of this chest. If these are the two mimics, this would be lying. So we know for sure it's not 4-7. So we have 2 and 5. No mimics in the first column. Yeah, that's the point. The leftmost column contains no mimics. There is no mimic here, no mimic here, and no mimic here. Mimics do not lie in this game mode. If it's the same color as the mimic, then it's lying. So it's 3 and 7 or 2-5. Okay, this is very difficult to organize, so I'm gonna help out here. You've identified the two most likely variations. So now we need to cross-reference them and see which chests are definitely not mimics. So these are the ones that are under suspicion of being mimics. 3, 7, 2, and 5. But does that mean we can safely open the other ones? Let's reason through them a bit. We know for sure that these two are not mimics because of the contradiction in the black boxes. So we can safely open these ones, we know that much for sure. In both patterns, we ended up with a red chest being a mimic, which means these are wrong. Do we have a variation where the red chests are all true? That would mean the leftmost column contains no mimics. If this red chest is true, that doesn't work. If the leftmost column contains no mimics, and we can't put the mimics here, so we can't have all of the red chests be a mimic for sure. So one of the mimics has to be between the red chest, and one of the mimics has to be between the black chest. Ergo, we can open all the other ones safely. We don't have a blue bow because this is the second fucking floor. Let's see if there's any further logic we can apply. Obviously there's one mimic in the red boxes and one mimic in the black boxes. By necessity. If this is the mimic, so far that makes sense. Yep, it's just a standard 50-50. It's the second floor, so we can gacha if you want, but we can just walk away. Because it's a 50-50. You do get significantly higher rewards on modes where you have to skip more chests, so you won't be behind in terms of power. The gacha addicts will be the end of you. Right, suit yourself. So it's either like this. So 2-5 or 3-7. 2-5 or 3-7. What's your lucky watery numbers? Alright, so Pseudo's going with the popular vote this time. 2-5 are the mimics, so we open 3-7. Wait, we were discussing which is the mimic. What are we opening? Are we opening 2-5 or 3-7? No, it's exactly as risky to open one of them as two of them. It makes no difference. Because if you open one of them, you know where the other one is anyway. And there's no other configuration in this one. Okay, we're opening 3-7. Pseudo failed us, tragically. Yeah, if you had it the other way around, you would have voted correctly. We shouldn't have explained it to Pseudo. Once you know you can predict stuff, you get them wrong. Okay, round 2. The top row has at least one mimic. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. The rightmost column has one or more mimics. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. The bottom row has at least one mimic. The leftmost column contains no mimics. There is a mimic among the red boxes. There is a mimic among the red boxes. Oh, fuck off. Why the fuck did I bother reading all that? Let's just go to the next one. This is your reward for believing in the gacha earlier. The bottom row has at least one mimic. There is a mimic among the red boxes. The rightmost column contains no mimics. There is no mimic among the black boxes. There is a mimic among the black boxes. There is a mimic among the black boxes. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. The bottom row has at least one mimic. There is no mimic among the red boxes. This one's easy. One, 9, 2, 9, and you're both wrong. I'll wait for a better guess before I start clicking. I understand you're just reasoning through it, of course, and just typing it in chat. No worries, take your time. Why are you all spamming 2, 9? Okay, so... Then this turns around. There is a mimic among the black boxes works. This works. The bottom row has at least one mimic. Yeah, it works. 2, 9 is possible. What about 4, 9? 4, 9 is not a mimic. It can't be a mimic. Because a mimic cannot say this. There's always something else when you're playing Doubt, my man. The mimics will always tell the truth. The real chests lie if they're the same color as the mimic. Haven't bothered solving them in a... Wow, so I'm barely paying attention. I know these are not mimics. Because you can't really have them be mimics, logically. So I'm just checking 2, 9 for you. So there is no mimic. So can this be a mimic? Because of this one has to mimic. Nope, that doesn't work. So this can't be a mimic. So all the blue chests don't have mimics in them. There is no mimic among the black boxes. This is automatically true. There is no mimic among the red boxes. Not true, but you know, not a mimic is what I mean. So all of the mimics are here. And the mimic cannot say this, so yep, 2-9 is the only combination. You're correct. I'm trying not to think about it until you give some suggestions, because otherwise you start talking and clicking on stuff and solving them. Chat was the 50-50 because they're gacha addicts, but they managed to read. I'll acknowledge that Ian knows how to read. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The leftmost column has one or more mimics. The box on the left isn't a mimic. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. The box below me is a mimic. The bottom row contains no mimics. The leftmost column has one or more mimics. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. The bottom row contains no mimics. This is a good one. A bit of cheating that more active people would have already noticed. There is definitely a mimic in the red boxes due to the contradiction here. Like one of these is incorrect. First guess we got is 4 and 6. You can infer something else from this, by the way. You know one mimic is here, right? So when we have two chests that say the same thing, they can't both be mimics now, because one of them is occupied here. So these are safe to open. Second vote for 4 and 6. Okay, this is your first vote. And then we got a conflicting one for 4 and 8. That's a good point. Yep, 4 and 8 or 4 and 6 would both work. What if... Next question. Is 4... Why does 4 and 8 not work? 5 contradicts? Oh yeah, because this one's correct. Good point. 5 is correct in that case, so it can't be 8. Okay, so 4 and 6 most likely. Yeah, but if 8 is a mimic, then 5 isn't lying. Let's just check if there's a different version, but you're probably right on this. I'm just blue crystalling for you. What if there is a mimic in the blue boxes? And this one's just wrong. Doesn't work because of this. Okay. 4 and 6 it is. Ah, you've been looking at chests for a while. Okay. I think most people are in agreement on this variation. But I'll ask before we open. Yep, pretty much everyone. They have reflect damage, don't use W. Actually, take that back. Yeah, let's shoot them all with W. Let the reflect damage do its job. Two mimics are hiding in black boxes. 0 mimics are hiding in blue boxes. 0 mimics are hiding in red boxes. One mimic is hiding in a blue box. Two mimics are hiding in black boxes. There is no mimic among the red boxes. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. Zero mimics are hiding in red boxes. This one's pretty easy. Though these statements are a bit nasty because they don't have an exact negation. For example, if the statement is false, it could mean there's one mimic in the black box, it could mean there's three, it could mean that they're in an entirely different color. First guess is 6 and 7. Other second guess is 2 and 9. I'll discard 2 and 9 right now. Doesn't work because of the second red box. These are, in this circumstance, the same statements. So you need this statement to say something else that contradicts these two. So it's not 2 and 9. 6, 7, 6, 7. Sure, let's swap 6, 7 for you. These have to be correct, because if they're mimics, then we don't have enough mimics for the black boxes. So they're not mimics. I use the correct word too much. A mimic can't say this, so this isn't a mimic. So the only question here is, can this box be a mimic? Assuming there's zero red box in the red boxes, that doesn't work. So no, this cannot be a mimic. And from there we know there's nothing in the red boxes, which only leaves these three boxes. We know this box is fucking lying because we already saw what's in the blue boxes. Which only leaves 6 and 7, which are telling the truth. Let's see what kind of garbage this dude sells. Damage book, why not? It helps. The bottom row contains no mimics. Not all the mimics are the same color. The leftmost column contains no mimics. Not all the mimics are the same color. This statement over and over 4 times. Fucking obviously these are not mimics. So one mimic is black and the other mimic is blue. And this is the mimic and we're done. Stupid ass puzzle. Let's bully pigs instead. No reason to break the spear though. Yeah, this will also two-shot. Yeah, they were working together to kick out all the mimics from there. They're tired of lying for the benefit of the mimics. So they're going to kill them and steal their wood. Do they have a whetstone? If not, I'm selling the halberd. Okay, we're selling the halberd. Because it's too broken. Do you want to buy a charm? Yeah, my usual strategy is to just buy a bunch of attack. That way I make sure you don't die to random nonsense. Small preference for buying the charm today, it seems. Charm it is. I can be even more lazy with giving you hints. There we go. Now it's the real shit. 3 mimics from here on. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The box on the left is a mimic. There is a mimic among the black boxes. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The box on the left isn't a mimic. The box on the right is a mimic. The box on the left is a mimic. There is no mimic among the red boxes. Hi, Free Knight. So, we are trying to open the chests that aren't going to eat us. Mimics always tell the truth. Normal chests lie, but only if there's a mimic of the same color. You mean 178? Sure, let's try that. 7, 8. There is no mimic among the red boxes. Works as a lie because of this. This works, this works. There is a mimic among the black boxes, which means there isn't. Yeah, this is a valid combination that you could have. Let's see if we can find a different one. So if, let's say this is a mimic. And then we have a mimic among the blue boxes and the red boxes as well. Is that possible? So they're all lying, for example, like this. So this is a lie. This is a lie. These ones end up being true, so that doesn't work. So what if we have among the blue and red boxes, but not those one? Yeah, that's the only one left. Can we move this one around? No. Okay, so 178 seems probable. Won't walk it in just yet, of course. But I'll mark it just so we can see it as the first suggestion. Can you think of another combination that might work here? Yeah, at least I can think of it. Don't see any other suggestion? Okay, going with this. The top row contains no mimics. The box on the right is a mimic. The box below me is a mimic. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. Okay, that kind of finished it entirely, but whatever. The box above me isn't a mimic. There is a mimic among the black boxes. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. The box below me isn't a mimic. There is no mimic among the blue boxes. I finished this one before I finished reading it. You're lucking out with easy ones. 3, 4, and 6. So 3, 4, and 6. 3, 6, 8. Am I missing something? 3, 6. We need a fourth mimic for that. That doesn't work. Two, 3, 6. So 2, 3, and 6. That would mean all of these can be correct, which doesn't work, because then they're not correct. So we can eliminate 2, 3, and 6 as a possibility. Because for them to lie, they have to have a red mimic among them. So 3, 4, and 6. We're back to that combination. Yeah, I don't see anything else. Okay, we don't need to buy food anymore ever again. Putting aside our endless hacking for food. I think it sold well. 50 gold. They don't spawn often, and a blue crystal helps. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The box below me isn't a mimic. The box on the right is a mimic. There is a mimic among the black boxes. The leftmost column contains no mimic. The top row contains no mimics. There is no mimic among the red boxes. The box above me is a mimic. The box above me is a mimic. This one's pretty easy, but if I'll let you go through it. I talk too much anyway. I'll let you play. Okay, just a little bit. There are several statements that directly contradict each other, where one of them has to be a bit off. One, two, and three are the first statement. Okay, so there is a mimic among the blue boxes, the box below me isn't a mimic, and there is a mimic among the black boxes. Then this is a lie, this is a lie, working so far. This is a lie, this is a lie, the box above me is a mimic. Yep, that's a valid combination. What about 2, 3, 4? That was mentioned next. That doesn't work, because this contradicts with this. There's several adversarial relationships you might notice. Yep, you get it. Four doesn't give us much information. We just know that it's not a mimic. Three, 7, 8. There is a mimic among the black boxes. There is no mimic among the red boxes. The box above me is a mimic. That doesn't work, because then this is a mimic. What about the other way around though? 2, 3, 8. Then this is a lie, this is a lie, this is true, and this is true. Yeah, that works, for example. So we can have 2, 3, 7, or 1, 2, 3, it seems. So it should be safe to open 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. Should I open these and then use a blue crystal? Or do you think it's a mistake that will get us killed? Okay, let's find out. Our one and only blue crystal. A blue crystal points towards a chest that isn't a mimic. 1, 2, 3 was correct. It can't blue crystal 2 or 3. Those are definitely mimics. The question was between 1 and 7. Yeah, we couldn't find a variation where 2 wasn't a mimic. One mimic is hiding in a red box. Same number of mimics in blue and black boxes. You will note that this is true. Same number of mimics on left and right rows. The top row has more mimics than the bottom. 2 mimics are hiding in red boxes. I hope you're not colorblind. 2 mimics are hiding in blue boxes. Same number of mimics in top and bottom rows. Same number of mimics in top and bottom row. There are more mimics in red than black boxes. Yeah, this is the left row, the right row, the top row, the bottom row. The first guess was 1, 2, and 4. So then this would be a lie, this would be a lie, this would be a lie, and this would be a lie. Yeah, 1, 2, and 4 is valid. Now, do we have any alternatives? We can be sure that this can be opened. That's obvious. And we know this is true. So we also know that one of the black boxes has to be a mimic. We already checked 1, 2, and 4. What if it isn't a mimic though? And the top row doesn't have more mimics than the bottom. Same number of mimics in top and bottom rows. Is that possible? This has to be true without a mimic to make sense. Nope, that doesn't line up. We have one too many here. Also, this is also true in that case. So that doesn't really seem to line up. So we know these are for sure not mimics. Pardon. We know this isn't a mimic, that this has to be a mimic, because it doesn't work if it isn't a mimic. And since this contradicts this, this is definitely not this is a wrong statement, which means that this isn't a mimic. Logically, we can just see that this has to be wrong, because it can't possibly be true. Is it possible for this to be true though? No, it can't be. Because for there to be two mimics, this statement becomes untrue. It will contradict some other statement, so this is true. Yeah, let me just demonstrate that. So let's say 6 is... Why can it be true and not a mimic? Okay, if it's true, then the other two are mimics, right? So then mimics are the ones that tell the truth. If a chest is the same color as that mimic, they lie. So 1, 2, 4 is the only variation we come up with. Almost done. 13 floors to go. Yeah, left and right can get annoying. There's no goat in the box to my right. There is 2 goats somewhere. The box below me isn't a mimic. The box on the left isn't a mimic. The rightmost column contains no mimics. This is the left column, so this isn't automatically true. The top row has at least 1 mimic. The box on the left has some gold in it. There is no mimic among the red boxes. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. Whoa. The box on the left has some gold in it. Yeah, it's saying there's is or isn't gold in the box, and you can open it and see. You can still gain value from that statement, based on how many other boxes say similar things or contradict it. Do mimics have gold? No. Mimics have mimics in them. 9 is referring only to 8, The box on the left, not the boxes on the left. If a chest is safe, is it guaranteed to have gold? No. It can have anything else. It's not entirely meaningless, but it gives you less information than a normal statement, yes. There are no mimics in bottom row. So do I beg your pardon? Well, what? What cover is this, dude? I assume you mean no other mimics, I'm just joking. Okay, so 268 or 248 were the suggestions given. So the box below me isn't a mimic, the top row has at least one mimic. So 248 or 268 fail immediately. Because this statement has to be a lie if it's not a mimic. So those are both wrong just from that. Because if this is a mimic, then why is this saying there's a mimic on the top, unless it's also a mimic? And then that doesn't work because we have the red. Kind of interested in this one. I'm gonna go silent for a bit, just so I can do it myself without spoiling it for you. One, 2, and 8 is wrong for a reason we discussed earlier. The box below me isn't a mimic, so why is this saying? If 2 is a mimic, then 5 has to be a mimic too. To make any sense. 3, 5, 8 was your other bet. That does work, yes. Three felt correct because 4 and 6 lying. Yeah, about how far I got was there is no mimic among the red boxes. I then checked if this statement is true. Couldn't be possible. Let's say I didn't fuck it up though. So what if this statement is actually true and we only have one mimic left? So that has to be true. Yeah, that doesn't work. So 7 is definitely not a mimic. 3, 5, 8. Okay, should be 3, 5, 8. Two is already excluded, but yeah. It wouldn't say there's no goat in the box to my right if 2 was a mimic. So do we commit to 358, which by the way is a game of cards that I remember playing as a kid. It wasn't very good. You win one round and then you win more the next one. Okay, I'll win on this. Almost there. Have about 5 more puzzles to go. Don't break the armor. I wanna sell it, that's why. We're gonna get the ass beat here. Can we actually afford this shit? A bit short. No candy, I forgot, unfortunately. I think the armor can take one more hit safely. It cannot. Or at least our health pool can't. Was really hoping for a storm around here. What else do we have? Oh, we die without the armor? Yep, we'll die. So we're gonna have to use it and break it. I should hit with the weapon first though, in case I cast a spell. There goes the armor. Might be dead due to getting stat checked. Yeah, we might die right now. It's pure luck. What's our odds of surviving? We have a 30% chance to cast a spell and survive. That'd be a pretty tragic ending. Okay, you gotta believe. How much damage does the spell actually do? It's gonna do 17 damage, so I don't need to spend anything else. Okay, do you believe in gacha? Believe. Fucking gambling addicts, your belief is always vindicated. Yeah, this is why I don't like buying charms. You can get bodied by random fucking fights. If you don't look out. We literally burnt everything we had to survive that. Give me more fucking health potions. More. More attack. We've already established that Ian can read just fine. There is a mimic among the black boxes, these two. The box below me is a mimic. I am a mimic. Wait, how does that work? Yeah, that statement can be a lie. Whoa. No, it can be a lie. Say like, this is a mimic. The normal statement is, I am not a mimic. So the reverse of that is, I am a mimic. That can absolutely just be a lie. Yeah, the chests are metagaming. Don't worry about it. There is a mimic among the red boxes. The box on the left is a mimic. The box above me is a mimic. The box above me is a mimic. There is a mimic among the red boxes. The box above me isn't a mimic. Alright, this one's easy. 4, 8, 9. Let's try it. These two are obviously not mimics, because if they're mimics, you don't have enough chests for other shit. Why is this one correctly saying it's a mimic? This one's saying it's a mimic now. That works. Don't worry about these ones for a second. This one is lying because of this. Yeah, so 4, 8, 9 is perfectly valid. I don't see any contradiction. And Jackster wants to try 4, 6, 8. Six, 8. The box above me isn't a mimic. The box above me is a mimic. Yeah, 3 is probably a lie. That's what I said. 4, 6, 8 doesn't work because it would require a 4th mimic. So 4, 8, 9. Let's flip it around and see if we can find something other than 4, 8, 9. What if there's no blue mimic at all? And that's why they're correct. Then this also isn't a mimic. Which means that this is a mimic. Instant contradiction, so there has to be a blue mimic. That doesn't work. Why is 4, 5, 7? 4, 5, and 7. Why is this one telling the truth? It's not a mimic, so why is it telling the fucking truth? That's why 4, 5, 7 doesn't work. That just saves it. Four, 6, 8. No, I just went over why it didn't work. If 6 is a mimic, then this one has to be a mimic, which makes no sense, because then we have a fourth mimic. Okay, do we just go with 4, 8, 9? Or do you suggest a different combination? Final answer? Oh, I pour some water because my throat is fucking dying from this. Yep, that was it. The box on the right is a mimic. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The leftmost column contains no mimics. The box below me isn't a mimic. The box above me isn't a mimic. The leftmost column contains one or more mimics. The leftmost column contains one or more mimics. The leftmost column contains no mimics. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. Two, 7, 9. That's because it's saying the same thing. Why are these lying then? LOO is out. Also, it's another point is this one is saying the same thing as this one, which again doesn't work for 279. Something... Okay, I won't cheat. I'll let you work through it. What if blue are both mimics? Then the other mimic is here. These are all correct. That works so far. This can't be a mimic, so this has to be the mimic. So we end up with this if both blue boxes are mimics. The box above me? Yeah, that's one possibility. So you can have both of the blue boxes being mimics. Two, 6, and 9. You mean instead of a black box, we have this. There is a mimic among the blue boxes. The box above me isn't a mimic. The leftmost column has one or more mimics. Well, then this one is just wrong, and mimics can be wrong, so that doesn't work. Five contradicts 2. Not in this mode, they don't. Yeah, 3 and 8 can't be both mimics. That's pretty easy to demonstrate. So the other mimic has to be here, right? The box above me isn't a mimic. This one's true. The box on the right is a mimic. The box below me isn't a mimic. Because why is this box saying this then? So that can be true. Walk-in 469. Okay, we have the walk-in request. We do have a charm, so if we get eaten alive, we'll just not give a shit. Few disagreements, but almost 90% of the people here agree. Apparently. Okay, let's see what we get. An overpowered attack item. That's really good because our attack is in the shitter. Do I even want to sacrifice attack? We have a whetstone, right? Yes. So we can still use the weapon afterwards. It's fine then. In retrospect, I should have skipped that fight. If we die to the boss, it's on me. The rightmost column contains no mimics. Rightmost is this one. The box on the left is a mimic. The box below me is not a mimic. The box on the right isn't a mimic. The top row contains no mimics. The box on the left isn't a mimic. The rightmost column contains no mimics. The box on the right isn't a mimic. The top row column contains no mimics. Six, 8, and 3. That doesn't make sense. I'm not even gonna click it. I read 3 and 6 and think about 3 being a mimic. Pseudo wants to try all blues being clear. That introduces some issues. But to demonstrate... Oops, wrong marker. So now we only have 2 boxes left. So just from the top row contains no mimic bit. So if these 2 boxes are true, this is definitely false, because we need to have at least 3 mimics. Otherwise, yeah, that's a valid combination you can get. Wait, no, it's not. Because that would require a mimic on the top. So what if it works like this? The box on the right isn't a mimic. But these are true, so this can't be a mimic. That doesn't work. We know that these aren't mimics at least. But they're also not true. Four, 7, and 8 as your mimics. And that's out immediately. The rightmost... same statement here. 1, 4, 9. Out for the exact same reason. 1 and 7 say the same shit. So either one of them is a mimic, or either they're both mimics or none of them is. Also... Ew, this one's messy. Yeah, 3 says below. There's nothing to the right of 3. It's just the X button. I'll give you a massive hint. The top row contains no mimics isn't true. So you're saying this is a guaranteed mimic, meaning this is safe. And since we know one mimic is on the top, this isn't a mimic. Which then lands the last mimic here. So 3, 4, and 8 is your suggestion. Grierf. And Sidarf after. Okay, that's 3, 4, 8. I'll start polling them. 3, 4, 8. Next one I have multiples for is 4, 6, 8. 4, 6, and 8. Then these ones are wrong, these ones are wrong. Yeah, I went through that one earlier. This one's entirely valid. Okay, that's the ones we have. 3, 4, 8 and 4, 6, 8. Why did 3, 4, 8 work? Yeah, it worked. So, we can open the chests we know for sure aren't assholes in either variation, namely these ones. Do I open? Or do you want... Do we have blue bows? Nope. We have charm. A charm is kind of like a blue bow, but you still get your face knocked on. Okay, so now we're just left with 2 variations and no way to tell. Okay, so we don't get confusion. Which chest to open? 3 or 4? Sorry, 3 or 6? You do not need all the wood now. Maybe you die on the next floor from stupidity because we opened this at random, but you're all fucking gacha players, so you want to open it. I know how you think. You're all crazy. How many puzzles before the boss? 25 is a fight, 26 is a puzzle, 27 is a fight, 28. 2 puzzles, I believe. Unless there's some RNG involved. Okay, you want to open 6. Fucking gacha players. Have you even missed once on opening random fucking chests for no reason? This fight sucks ass. Do we have a shuriken? Yep. I'm gonna use it here. Give me magic. God damn it. I'd rather save the health. Oh, is that not enough? Fuck, I wasted 5 attack. I guess that summoned the magic. Okay, we're near the end. The bottom row has more mimics than the top. 1 mimic is hiding in a red box. The right row has more mimics than the left. Same number of mimics in top and bottom rows. There are more mimics in red than blue boxes. Same number of mimics in blue and red boxes. There are more mimics in black than blue boxes. There are more mimics in black than blue boxes. There are more mimics in red than blue boxes. Okay, we have a proper clusterfuck. Let's go. So, there is one chest that is true all on its own, and what the rest say don't matter, and that chest breaks everything apart. You all think 2 is a mimic? You're correct. Since we know this isn't a mimic, this statement is definitely wrong. Is definitely wrong. So there is less than 2 chests here that are mimics. That isn't as that helpful though. Something else that's pretty helpful to spot though is that Emperor's Blade Pursuer is wrong. If these are mimics, then they are lying, but mimics never lie in this mode. So these have to be true. Other suggestion was 248 and 238. The right row has more mimics than the left. And there are more mimics in black than blue boxes. What about 238? Oh, that's 238. What about 248? Yeah, either of those works. That's a proper 50-50. What if they're both true? If that would require the mimics not being black boxes. Yep, they can't both be true, so they're in conflict. 259 is as proven. I just open the one that are safe. Oh, decent armor. That will not help us. There are more mimics in black than blue boxes. Yes, by... well, not necessarily. What if this is a mimic? Then this statement is a lie. And there's an equal amount of mimics in black and blue boxes. We can't accept that 7 is not a mimic. At least not on this logic. One assumption is that 6 and 7 are both mimics. That doesn't work, because then this statement wouldn't match this statement. So we can be pretty sure that 6 and 7 are not both mimics, because otherwise a lying chest would be saying the same as a truthful chest. Also, this one is correct when it should be lying, and this one is correct when it should be lying. So these two are mutually exclusive almost. They can't both be mimics, rather. What if none of them is a mimic? So there's no mimic in the blue boxes. Then this statement is true. This is a mimic. This is false. Same number of mimics in top and bottom rows. Or the right row has more mimics than the left. This can go either way. That's just RNG. Okay, we don't have any resources other than the charm. Can we determine that that any of these chests can't possibly be mimics? I can think of variation that any of these chests is a mimic, I think. Can this be a mimic? Yeah, we just did. What about this? We'll check 3 in a bit. Same number of mimics in blue and red boxes. Would basically mean this is a mimic, which doesn't work. Okay, so this is safe to open for sure. Otherwise the pattern falls apart. 7 is not. For now. And somebody said 3 and 4 can't both be true. That's correct. We discussed that earlier. The right row has more mimics than the left. Why can't this be a mimic? Trick can be a mimic just fine. Oh, because... and then this is a lie. I don't see a problem with that. Open everything except 2, 3, 4 and 8. Sure. I'm fairly confident this isn't a mimic. Okay, if this isn't a mimic, can this be a mimic? Then we have the possibility of this being a mimic. And then these two are both wrong. Yeah, 7 can be a mimic just fine. We can open this one. Not that helpful though. We know where one mimic is. Okay, we either walk away or we have to gacha. The rest are RNG. Yeah, every possible... multiple combinations are possible, yeah. This can be mimics. We can have this not be a mimic. There are more mimics in black than blue boxes. Okay, I can make a combination where... So that can just be a mimic. Then this statement is wrong, so the blue ones match up. And then we have one mimic in the black one, so this one is also wrong. For example, it has to be this one though. And then both of these statements are just wrong. If 7 mimic is lying, then it should be safe. Why is it lying? Oh, because there's not more. Fair enough. I missed that. Yeah, this one's safe. Yep, I'm stupid. Then this one's just correct. And it's a 50-50. We can skip the next fight, so that's fine. We'll just go straight to the boss. 3, 4. We only have one more puzzle, so we can leave if you want. Because we do have a charm, after all. If you want me to, I'll leave, but you've never wanted that before. Seven being safe is proof that 8 isn't. Because 8 has to be a mimic. Because it's telling the truth. The different color changes what kind of chest it is, ultimately. Okay, we're opening 3. We're assuming that this is a mimic, and they all have even, and the right row has less mimics than the left. Tragic. But we have a charm. So... Oh, for fuck's sake. I stepped on the fucking ground. I hate when that happens. I was moving to open the other chest, and then I stepped on the ground, and it just took me to the next map. Hacking game. It's gold anyway, yeah. Okay, final puzzle. The rightmost column contains no mimics. There is a mimic among the black boxes, these 3. The box below me is not a mimic. The bottom row contains no mimics. The box above me isn't a mimic. The top row has at least one mimic. There is a mimic among the red boxes. The box above me is a mimic. The leftmost column has 1 or more mimics. It's 400 gold if we sell it. This one's a proper clusterfuck though. Wanna point out that skipping is an option. Okay, I really wanna eat, so I'm gonna try to all-in on solving this too. I'll help as much as I can. We're fine and good. Alright, so there's no clear pattern here. So we're gonna have to just do lines until we figure it out. Assume this is a mimic, so all of these are correct. All of them are not mimics. That doesn't work. Necessarily, because it would be lying when it's in the blue box. So this one demonstrates that it's wrong already. Let's assume for a moment that this is true and all blue boxes are safe, as somebody in chat suggested. Then we're looking at, by necessity, something that looks like this. That's impossible. Ergo, we can conclude that all blue boxes are not in fact safe. We know this one is safe. Because if it's a mimic, this one should be saying the box above me is a mimic, but it isn't. So we know this one is safe and fucking lying. But we can't draw the conclusion that other... Actually, I have it backwards. You can draw the conclusion that the other boxes are full of shit and that there's a mimic in the right side. One of the mimics is here. Three, 9, 5. Yeah, we'll just follow that through. 3, 9, and 5. That doesn't work, obviously. Why is this one telling the truth? Why is this one telling the truth? Telling the truth too? Definitely not 395. Now, what can we assume that's a good box to assume it's a mimic? Let's assume this is a mimic for a bit. The box above me isn't a mimic. Okay, we can conclude that this box isn't a mimic pretty quickly, I think, but I'll run through it. This box being a mimic necessitates this one being a mimic or this one being a mimic. Oh, I'll mark them as this. The box above me is a mimic, the leftmost column has at least one mimic. That matches here. So since both of these are not lying, this isn't a mimic either. So the top row has the last mimic in this logic. And the only one it could be would be this one. And this one's lying. Okay, so 3, 4, and 7 is a possible combination. We're not gonna go and open them. Now we're looking for other combinations other than 3, 4, and 7. Or to disprove 3, 4, and 7 in case I fucked something up. Two, 4, 7 is another suggested. 2, 4, and 7. 3, 4, 6. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I meant 3, 4, 6. Well, I marked earlier. So there is a mimic among the black boxes. This one, there is a mimic among the red boxes. This one is lying. This one isn't lying, so 2, 4, 7 is out of the question. We can't have 2, 4, 7, because this one isn't lying then. Because of 3. So we're looking for any other variations. Let's assume this is true for a moment. Sorry, that this isn't a mimic, and this is the mimic here. That would mean the other one is red, so that would be in contradiction. So that doesn't work. What if they're both mimics? How does that work out? That means this one's correct. That doesn't work. So they can't both be mimics. One of these has to be not a mimic. And since we already established that it can't be this one's also correct. And we can just open it. Because if this isn't a mimic, but this is, then this one is lying. One of these has to be a mimic, and then this one is telling the truth. And since they can't both be, we can safely open this one as well. Yes, 3 is lying. Let's see. 3, 4, and 6. Is that what I said? No, I had some other configuration, I fucked it up. I'm pretty sure I just said the wrong stuff. The box above me is a mimic, leftmost has, top row has one. And the box below me isn't a mimic. Yeah, I mean 2, 4, 6. I'm just stupid. That's what I meant. 2, 4, 6. I can't read. Ah. Try 3, 4, 9. 3, 4, and 9. I just did. So This one's lying, the top row has at least one mimic, the leftmost column, the box above me is a mimic. And the bot... this works unless I'm stupid and missing something. We can just skip, yes. As far as I can tell, we should just go. Does it? No, it doesn't. Because this one's just lying. There's no contradiction there. This one is just lying. Mimics tell the truth. Boxes that are the same color as a mimic are lying. Bottom contains a mimic, so this works. All of this is a mimic, and this is a mimic. I'm just checking if we have the space, and then the rest one has to be red. And this one, that doesn't work. So this box can't be a mimic. We can safely open that box, at least. Hitting the boxes with my mouse, huh? Yeah, it allows me to check if they're mimics. Works perfectly. Yeah, what if it's wrong? And there is nothing on top? The box above me, the leftmost column has one or more mimics. We're short one mimic for this configuration to work. No, yeah, it works. But then this one's correct, so it doesn't. Okay. All I'm trying to figure out now is if there is a mimic in the black boxes or not. As far as I can tell, there isn't. Let's assume this is lying for a second. That would mean all of these boxes are safe. And it looks like this. That doesn't work. So this one's just correct and this is a mimic. So the only question now is if we can have a mimic among the black boxes or not. We know we have one mimic here. And we know that 4 is a mimic. Because it doesn't work otherwise, right? Yeah, this doesn't work because of that box, we checked it earlier. So the only way it makes sense is if these boxes are all right. 5 and 8 are not mimics. Well, I'm assuming that this is a mimic, and it probably is. Like, I haven't actually confirmed that this is a mimic. I think it's true. Should we open 5 and 8? Or do you think that's a mistake? While you're debating it, I'll rewrite the logic on here. Let's assume this isn't a mimic and this is lying. Then that would have to be a lie, so this has to be the mimic. So this one is also a mimic. And we know this one's full of shit already, so this one has to be the last mimic. Doesn't work now. They should all be. Okay, I've checked every logic I can think of. Black ones should be safe. Which means this is for sure a mimic, and one of these is a mimic. We know this one is lying, so it's safe to open. Which means this is the other mimic. Which means this isn't a mimic, and we're done. 3, 4, 9, yep. Ooh, that was a long one. Give me my candy. Stack attack. We have 4,000 fucking gold. Give me health potions. We're gonna need all of them. Okay, this is it. Final fight. Oh yeah, let's blue crystal the boss. Somebody requested it. Might as well eat the big meat, right? 275 health. So, assuming we get one spell, that should be 4 hits off. Wait, who taught me math? It's 240 plus 16 damage. 256. And one spell does 22 damage. Yeah, so we just need one spell to kill in 4 hits. Any other stuff we can use? Yeah, blue crystal. There's no use for this right now. Wake up. Let's go for the backstab. 33 damage. And the spell. 2 more hits to death. Chuck all the potions. And GG. We beat the stat check. Good job, chat. That was a hard one. 74 minutes. We took forever on that one. Minus 2009 points. Would be funny if it reduces my extra points from doing that one. But a win is a win. Good job. Let's see if I can donate membership or something when it's my own channel. Yeah, but I'm a cheapskate. Oh, I can afford this 5. Good job. You carried hard. You deserve it. Assuming it goes through. Oh, I like how I need a fucking text message verification to buy my own membership. This is such a scam. But you work hard. You deserve it. What can you do? What can I do? Here you go. Good job. No, I'm giving money to YouTube. Like, this shit is getting taxed. Basically lost the 20 doing that. Worth it though. Thanks for your time. That was a fun stream. We'll do some more IS tomorrow or something else. For now though, it's time to go find some food. As for this game, if you want it, it's called Mimic Logic. It's $4 on Steam. I really recommend it. Have a nice evening, everyone.